Good evening, teacher.
Hello, good evening, Stefania. How are you? Is everything okay?
Yes, teacher. And
Great.
you?
Everything is fine. Thanks for asking, Stefania. Let's begin with today's, let's say, conversation. We're not going to have like a practice. Everything's going to be just like to close this course, and perhaps for some of you, it's going to be the last course for this program. And for, well, others, is going to be like the kind of the last step before going to the preparation course. All right. So to do that, I'm going to ask you some questions as I did before, I think with you, Stefania. I'm also going to show you some material that you're going to be using and something that we've been using actually to practice a little bit. All right, are you ready to start with this conversation?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, great. So first of all, I'm showing you on my screen that I was able to upload in every unit in the listening practice section, you have the videos, all right, and the material that we've been using to practice our listening skills. So if you're interested, all right, interested in learning more, in practicing more related to those lectures, to those fields, to that kind of vocabulary, go to listening practice, and in every unit you have at least two, all right, two different videos with 3 to 8 minute long, all right, material to listen to. And as you can see, it's in every unit, all right? Every unit has its own listening practice, as well as the last one that is this last unit, this one, and the lecture that we got to practice, all right? So that's the first thing. You have access to that, and you by yourself, you can look for extra material to keep practicing and improving your listening skills. Also, I want you to remember that you have this document over here, and if you are ready, all right, after some time, and you practice all those last words and expressions, all right, and you want me to help you out, you can contact me, all right, and we can arrange something, or you can record how you did it and you make me listen to it so that I can help you out with the words that we didn't get to say in class. All right, remember that that's also here in on Google Classroom in the classwork section in the first part, right? Courses, information, and content. I don't know if you have any questions about this information, Stephanie. Let me know, please.
No, teacher.
Okay, great. The second thing is that after this presentation, I'm going to upload the grade, all right, the final scores. I think all of you did it very well, all right. The scores are going to be more or less over here, all right. They're going to be on the top of courses, information, and contact. It's going to say final scores, and there you're going to be able to see how you did within class activities, the presentations, right? The oral presentations and the final oral presentation. You more or less know, right? Because you have your score, I think, in your on your assignments. But after this conversation, you're going to be able to see everything entirely. And that's it related to Google Classroom. Now, what I would like to do here to finish, this is not going to be a class, this is not going to be practice, let's say, it's going to be feedback. So let me know about your perspectives about this course, Stefania. This was listening and speaking. We got to practice, all right, those skills. Let's begin with some negative aspects or recommendations. What are two negative aspects or two recommendations and or two recommendations that you can give me related to A14, Stephanie? Let me know, please. You can tell me whatever you want in terms of methods, in terms of activities, in terms of the material, and so on and so forth. Let's
No,
begin.
teacher. Yeah, I think nothing negative. Um, uh, I think you did very well. I really understand you a lot, and you could help me a lot. And thank you really for that. Um, I think all was really good. I have no observations, negative observations. I think all was very, very good.
Great. Thank you for saying that, Stephanie. I'm really glad and happy to hear that. All right. I'm really, really happy to hear that. So, but perhaps you can tell me about recommendations to improve. For example, and you can help me out with this, Estefania. I love music. I really love music. Music is like my entire life, all right? So it's very important to me. But I wanted to implement music in this course, and I wanted to do something like singing sometimes or karaoke, but some people feel uncomfortable with that. Perhaps you are one of those. So, what do you say about that? In which way do you think I can implement music in this way of practice? And what can I do to make all people feel comfortable with that? Do you have any recommendations to do that, Estefania?
Yes, teacher. I think each person is different, but if you implement music, perhaps like listening practice, like we did in these classes. It's great. I listening and tell you what we understand. I don't know. It's a good idea.
Good. And that's really interesting, Stephanie, because I was thinking, and it's also possible to implement that as part of the speaking practice, right? You may record yourselves and sing, but I know that not everybody's going to be feel or is going to feel comfortable singing, right? But doing as a listening practice, I think that's going to be more likely to be accepted by everybody, right? So I think that's very interesting. Great.
Yes, maybe singing or like a karaoke. I don't know. It's
Karaoke?
yes, it's different. Maybe people don't feel comfortable with that, but like a listening practice, that could be fine.
Great, great. Thank you very much. Yes, actually, I haven't thought about that. I was only thinking about the speaking part, but for the listening part could be also very interesting, right? And it's challenging because listening to music is not as easy, right? It can be hard, but it can be a
Yes.
good challenge. All right, good. Great. All right. So that's a great recommendation. Perhaps do you have something else? A different recommendation related to speaking. We were watching some videos imitating those videos, right? I was trying to use strategies so that you can imitate and try to improve your pronunciation, your speaking skills, and so on. What other type of material, Stefania, do you recommend that I may use to make students practice, all right, their speaking skills this time? Do you have
Yeah.
anything in mind?
I don't know, teacher. I remember that I invented a story for the speaking practice, and I was really nervous, but I did very well, I think. And so maybe um, give I don't know people to invented a story or something like that. Maybe um, give give there some words for it to do a story in that moment could be a great idea, or something like that. I don't know, teacher.
But it's great. No, actually, you're giving me very good ideas because, most of the time it was just imitating or trying to say something over other things, right? It was only one time that I asked you, and I remember, yes, it was you, and you did it great, all right? The story, right? You needed to tell a story. And yeah, telling me that idea of using specific words to tell a story, right? For example, I can give you one kind of context. I can tell you that the story should happen at a specific place using these specific words, right, is going to make the person, right, try to think of ways to connect those ideas, and that will be a great way of practicing. So I think that's very well, and that's a great idea, Stephanie.
Yeah,
Thank you.
also for the vocabulary, you could be give there some new words with their definition, and with that words, they could do a story.
Exactly, exactly. The words that we're learning in the vocabulary are the words that they should use in the story to see how they apply the words, right? If they really understand the words, and that's a great way of perhaps memorizing and understanding that word in a better way,
Yes.
right? Okay, good. Very good. All right. So I think those are great recommendations. Now let's go. Again, you told me that everything was kind of positive for you, but now you're going to try to be a little bit more specific. Let's go to the positive aspects. Those were the recommendations. What are two positive aspects or two things that you liked, all right, let's say a lot or more than other things in the course, in this course, A14?
This course, I think you have a lot of patience and you speak, I don't know, not faster. So we can understand you very well. And yes, I also realize that you don't use Spanish for nothing. And and it was a really like a challenge for me because I needed to understand all in English, and that is a good thing. And I don't know, teacher. Uh,
Great, great.
Everything was really good. Thank you,
Great.
really.
No, thank you. Thank you for those words. I'm really happy again. All right. To listen to this is always very like motivating. All right. And I'm happy. I'm really happy to know that it was helpful, that it was a challenge because it's important, right? A course shouldn't be not it shouldn't be hard, all right? A course shouldn't be hard, but it should be challenging. And what's the difference? Something hard is something that is going to cost a lot and you don't really know how to deal with something hard. But something challenging is something that make you think, but make you use the resources that you have because you know how to do it. And it's only think in the best way of approaching and dealing with that. So I think it was a good challenge. And I think you were able to approach to this kind of challenge very well because it's I'm surprising, all right, it's surprising and I'm surprised in the way that you are saying that it was kind of a challenge in trying to understand because I noticed that your level of English is very good, all right, and it's very high, but perhaps you have the feeling and you in your mind believe that you still don't have what you need to express yourself, to say the things, but I believe that you do. Perhaps you're only a little bit insecure about those aspects. I believe that you have what you need, Estefania, to all right, be very fluent, and you have showed that. Just try to, all right, try to show, all right, that confidence because sometimes I believe that you have that one, but you believe that you're going to make mistakes. But it doesn't matter. Make mistakes if you're going to make mistakes. Try to do it, all right, because if don't, you're going to be like not knowing what to do, not knowing what to say, and then you're going to like have problems over there. But I think you were able to do a great job throughout the entire course, all right? Keep it that way, keep practicing that way. You have again everything you need to keep speaking fluently. And again, the only thing is try not to think that you don't have what you need. Try not to think that perhaps you still need to learn a lot because I think you have actually everything over there. The only thing you need to do at this point, Stephanie, is try to get some extra words, some new vocabulary, try to reinforce the structures that you have in English, try to improve the little mistakes that you had related to pronunciation, related to structure. But again, that's like fixing little details because again, you have everything you need to do that. All right. So again, thank you for that. And thank you for being part of the class because you were always very active, respectful, and I really, all right, like to be with you in class. I don't know if you have any final comments or something else that you want to say, Stephanie.
No, teacher, just thank you.
Okay.
I'm happy. I'm sad in the same time.
All right. Yes, it's always sad, right, to say goodbye or to finish something. It was nice working in these last two courses with you, Estefania, with Majo, Melanie. Perhaps I would have liked to work with all of you. Some of you had problems in the last course. I know that the writing part was very difficult or challenging, even more challenging for some of you. But I believe that it's important that you know all those details, right? So again, thank you. All right. Thank you for everything, Stefania. I hope that we can be in contact anytime soon in the future. Again, you know that you can contact me if you want to work these words. It doesn't have to be like a call or even a meeting. It just have to be like something like a recording. You send me the recording, you tell me, I have these words, please let me know if they are okay. I'm going to give you my feedback, and that's all right? Anytime you want to practice as well, you can text me and we can have a short conversation in English, of course, all right, so that you can practice. But the idea is that you know that you have me there in case you want to still practice your English in a more casual, informal way. And in case you need and you get all right to have a test in the future, you can also let me know so that I can give you some tips on how to approach that test if I have experience related to it. All right?
Okay, teacher, thank you.
Great. That's it then. The final thing I'm going to ask you is to fill out this survey, please, Stefania. It has some questions related to the class. Today, we didn't have a class, but please fill out the first 3 questions related to the last class that we had on Friday. All right, using that information. And the last 2 questions are related to the entire course and related to me as your teacher. All right, let's fill out that, please. And as you're doing it, let me know if you have something else to finish this.
I broke my glasses. So I
Oh, I cannot make this bigger, sorry.
no worries. Okay. Mm, I have no questions or more comments. Yeah. Thank
It's
you,
great.
teacher.
So again, wait for the grades. I'm going to finish the conversations and I'm going to upload the final grades on Google Classroom, and I'm also going to send the link to the WhatsApp group. All right. So have a great night. I hope we can be in contact soon. Whatever questions you have related to your score, just let me know. If you want to check your words, also let me know. And again, I hope we can see each other soon, Estefania. Bye bye. It was great to meet
Bye, teacher. Take
you. Bye.
care.
You too. Bye bye, Estefania.
Thank you for everything. Bye.
Very welcome. Bye bye.
Bye.
Hello, good evening, Carolina. How are you?
Good evening, teacher. I'm fine, thank you.
That's great to know, Carolina. So let's begin with today's conversation. Today, we're not going to have a practice. It's going to be like the final contact we're going to have, all right, with each other. And I'm going to give you some information so that you can take into account. And I would like to work with feedback so that you can tell me, all right, some positive and negative aspects about the course, recommendations, and some other comments that you may have. All right, are you ready for having this conversation?
Yes, teacher, I'm ready.
Great, great to know. So first of all, I think that you see the survey. Do you see the survey, Carolina? Let me know, please. It's the poll that we fill out at the end of the conversation or the class. Can you see it?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, good. So you're going to fill that out when we finish this conversation, all right? The first 3 questions are related to the class. Today is not a class, so please, the first three questions are going to be related to the last class that we had on Friday, all right? And the last two questions are going to be about general answers related to the entire course and to myself, all right? And you can do that at the end of the conversation. So let's begin. The information that I want to give you is the following. First, after this conversation, I'm going to publish and post the scores, the final scores, which are going to be here, all right, on the top of courses information and contact. Final scores, they are going to be over there. In case you have some questions related to it, some doubts or comments, just let me know. All right, I think in general you did it very well, but just in case. That's the first part. The second part, remember that also here in courses information and contact, over here I have to improve. That's the part in which you find these documents and you find all the words that we've been working together. Okay, we're not going to do this today, but remember, if you want me to help you out with these words in terms of pronunciation and in terms of the structure and so on, you can contact me. Again, it doesn't have to be a meeting, it doesn't have to be even like this, all right, a video call. It's enough perhaps with an audio file, all right, via WhatsApp. You send me and tell me, teacher, these are the words, or Luis, these are the words, and you read the words, these are the expressions, and I'm going to give you my feedback, all right, when we have the time to do it. All right, but that's something extra. But if you want to do it, I'm able to do that. All right. And finally, related to this platform, each unit, all right, one, two, three, and four, each unit has its own listening practice section in which I was able to upload, all right, the listening practice that we were doing these days, all right, on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Each listening practice has two different material that you can keep listening because we were able to listen to all of them. But remember, Carolina, that it was only perhaps sometimes the first minute or even the first seconds because we had conversations and we went back and so on. So if you want to finish listening to the entire lecture so that you can listen more words and you can listen to more expressions and perhaps challenge yourself by doing it, then you can check these listening practices that are over here. And this last one perhaps is going to be interesting. This is 49 minutes, which is going to help you a lot. That's it related to Google Classroom. I don't know if you have any questions about it, Carolina. Let me know, please.
No, teacher, it's all okay.
Great. Good. So the next part is going to be about feedback. So you're going to tell me, all right, what you think about the course in general. And I'm going to ask you some questions so that we can organize that. We're going to start by this. You can tell me some negative aspects, elements, or I don't know, right, whatever about the course that is negative, or some recommendations, all right? And we can put that in a number. Let's say two. Try to tell me two things that you found were negative in the course, or you can tell me two recommendations to improve something that you believe can be better. What do you say, Carolina? Now it's your turn.
Okay, teacher. Well, I think I don't have a lot of bad things that I would like to say because I don't have. I think maybe something negative, but it's not specific related with the course. But in my case, was the time because sometimes I couldn't be present on the class, and those days I lost some activities. I think, but I think maybe that could be the worst. Um, I think the rest was really good.
Thank you very much, Carolina. Yes, time is always something, right, that we need to try to manage, and it's not always right in our hands. Sometimes we have something related to our work, something related to our studies, right, because we study something else besides English, and we have other activities. That's right. All right, you're right. But again, as it happened with A13, right, you were able to manage this very well. You have the skills that you need, all right, to be in this level and even more. The thing is just keep practicing, right? Keep learning and try to apply the strategies that we were learning and the knowledge that we were learning in the writing and the speaking, right, courses, so that you can even improve that and get to an even higher level. But I think again that you have everything that you need to be all right up there, all right, in one of the highest levels over here with English. It's just practicing and implementing more and more words, implementing more and more expressions, and try to make that a little bit more natural, and that's going to be it. All right. So good. I'm really glad to listen to that, Carolina. Something perhaps try to tell me now, not related to positive aspects yet, that's going to be later on, but what recommendations can you give me? For example, I was having the conversation with Estefania, and we were talking about music and some material to practice speaking and listening. She told me that we can listen to some music in the listening practice with some of you, so that perhaps all right in the future some other students are able to listen to that song and they can tell me what they were able to understand, right? Because music is different and it can be more like attractive for some people. But of course, lectures is also very important, right? But that can be one way of doing that. And also, she told me about the story that she liked that we can use some specific words to create a story so that we can find ways, right, to connect ideas and different words. Those were two recommendations that she gave. What can you tell me about some material or activities that we can or I can implement in this type of course, Carolina? What kind of activities would be attractive for you in terms of speaking and listening? What do you say?
Okay, teacher. Well, I think it's really interesting, the activity of the music. I think it will be a good option. Uh, Maybe another activity could be, well, today in the morning in my school, we were listening a story, reading about for a person who is famous. I think it was an actress, and it was really interesting because it wasn't like the typical history saying once upon a time and then. I mean, it was with expressions of her voice and with a lot of feelings, and I think it was really interesting because I think most of the students uh, achieved to understand what she was saying. So I think maybe that could be another thing that I really like. It was the presentations because I think it is a really good option to present and to speak, maybe to give your opinion. I think that it is a good option. Other thing that I could suggest maybe could be in the school sometimes we listen also music, but instead of saying what we are understand, we complete the song. I mean, for example, uh, for a higher level we listen rap, and I think that's the most difficult because it's really fast, so it's a kind of confused understand what the singer is trying to say. But for example, the teacher put us some parts of a song, and we try to listen the words, the blanks, and I think maybe could be an option. I think that's interesting.
Very good. Thank you very much, Caroline. And great, great. You're actually giving me great ideas. The first part, yes, some elements like the emotion, right? Like the feelings, the way we use our voices can help us understand even better something that is not clear in terms of the content, but in terms of the quality, right, and the emotions that are related to that word. So that's really interesting. I'm going to take that into account. That seems a really, really interesting activity to work on. Then about music, yes, you're right. Rap, perhaps that's the like the biggest challenge, right, that someone could have when someone's learning English. You're right. There are rappers that, of course, they speak really, really fast, some even faster than others. But the idea of completing, right, the sentence or some ideas with one word or filling out the blanks, that seems also really interesting and something that is going to be like worth doing in this type of course. So thank you very much for those recommendations, Carolina. It seems great to implement those activities. The last thing, perhaps you already mentioned some of those because you said that you like the presentations, perhaps related to these or to other courses, but the positive aspects or the things that you liked. What are two things that you liked? Perhaps if you mentioned that, you can mention that again, but two things that you liked or that you found very positive related to this course. What do you say?
Okay, teacher. Well, I think in general was a really good course. I liked really. I really like the course, but I think two things that I like the most could be I like the courses in which we have a lot of interaction. I mean, in which the student can speak a lot and maybe give their opinion. I really think that in this course we did. So I think that was really great. I like that a lot. Also, I think the part of the presentation, as I mentioned before, I think this is really interesting. And maybe at the beginning we were kind of nervous for the presentations, but I think each of one give the best of us. So I think that was really good. And also, I think I like the part of the interpretation. I mean, when we were listening to the audios and we talk about solve a problem, I think or maybe choose between two options. I like that part because I think we are develop our criteria, so we can try to see which is the best option. I think that part was good also. I think that.
Very good. Thank you once again, Carolina. Great, great. I'm really glad again that you like those aspects, that you found those details as positive, right, as part of the course. That's great. You're right. Everybody, all right, all of you. I'm talking about you, Carolina. I'm talking about Melanie, Majo, all right, Stephanie. I think you did a great job over here with the presentations, with the vocabulary that you had, with the ways you had in showing the information that you were able to find right when doing some research. You're right, working with options, telling why this is the best and why this could be not the best idea is helping us not only with criteria, but also when using vocabulary expressions and improving the speaking skills in general, right? So again, I'm really grateful, all right, and I'm really happy that you were able to take advantage of those elements, Carolina. Thank you very much. So please, we're going to finish over here. I think the survey is there for you to complete now, Carolina. Now that we finished the conversation, you can do it. Fill out the first three questions related to the class that we had on Friday, please. And the last two questions are in general for the course and for myself. All right. Do it, please. And again, after these conversations with Majo and Melanie, I'm going to upload the final scores and you can check your final score over there. Thank you very much for everything. You know that you have my contact in case you have any questions related to some test, related to some other details. I'm there to help you out. It was nice meeting you and well, good luck with everything, Catalina.
Thank you so much, teacher. You are one of the best teachers that I know. I really hope that you will have the best. Goodbye,
Great.
teacher.
Thank you very much, Carolina. Thank you. Bye-bye. Goodbye. Hello, good evening, Majo. How are you?
Hello, teacher. I'm fine, and you?
Great. I'm fine. Thanks for asking, Majo. Are you ready for this last contact that we're going to have?
Yes, teacher sad, but
Great.
I'm ready.
Yes, yes, always, right? Saying goodbye is kind of sad. It doesn't matter the situation, right? Okay, so let's have this one, all right? And let's take advantage of this time because you're going to give me some feedback related of what you feel and what you felt about this course and everything in general. This survey is going to be for you to complete it at the end of the conversation. I don't know if you're able to see the survey now, Majo.
No, teacher, I'm very happy with the cures and with you, teacher.
Okay, okay, good. And can you see, thank you very much for that one, Majo. Can you see the survey now? Can you see the poll on your screen?
Yes, yes, teacher, I see.
Okay, good. You're going to fill out the questions at the end of the conversation. All right?
Okay.
Okay, good. So let's begin. First, I'm going to give you some information and then I'm going to ask you some questions related to the course. The first thing, you know, this. So Majo, this is also for you. If you still want to practice, actually it's over there, here. It's over here, Majo, right? So if you want to still to practice these words over here, the pronunciation and the structure of these expressions, let me know. And again, you can do it even finishing the class. You just let me know, and via WhatsApp, you can tell me, Luis, right? I'm done with the words. Can you help me out? You can send me an audio file via WhatsApp with these words, and I'm going to let you know if they are okay or you need to improve something, all right? That's something extra. You can do it if you want and when you're ready, all right? Something apart from the program. Then, that's for everybody, all right? But I'm telling you also here. The next part is this one. Every unit has the listening practice section, Majo. So in this listening practice, you have the material that we've been listening to. They are 5 minutes to 8 or 9 minutes long. So if you want to finish listening to these lectures, do it because they are really interesting and they are going to help you out develop your listening skills. All right. So as you can see in Unit 2, you have those ones, Unit 3 as well. And this last unit, you also have 2 listening practices. All right. And the last thing related to, Google Classroom is that after these conversations, I'm going to upload the final scores and they are going to be over here, all right, on the top of courses information and content. All of you did it very good, all right, all of you passed, so that's very, very positive. And in general, well, if you have any questions related to it, you can let me know. Do you have any questions so far before going to the feedback part, Marjo? Let me know, please.
Teacher, will the material stay there?
It's going to be here, but only until next week, until Monday. Because after this, perhaps if I have different students in this level, I'm going to be with those students and you're not going to be part of this course anymore. So you can download all the material and you can download all the links until Sunday. Okay, you have many days to do it.
Okay, teacher.
All right. Remember, you can download everything in Mac, right? So all the presentations are for you to download. The listening practice are only links, so you can copy and paste the links so that you have access to them whenever you have time. All right. Good. So that's it with Google Classroom. Again, then it's going to be available for you until Sunday, but in case you were not able to download something, you can contact me again and I can send you the material. All right, that can be something else. Now, let's go to the feedback part, Majo. And these last 2 courses, for, of course, many of us are something that can be challenging. The listening, the speaking part, this last course, and also the previous course, which was writing and reading, right? Those can be challenges, but you were able to approach that in a good way and you were able to succeed, all right? To succeed with it. Now, only talking about A14, listening and speaking. Let's begin with some negative aspects or recommendations, Marco. Again, you can tell whatever you want. It doesn't have to be negative in the sense that I don't like this or that, but you can say negative in the sense of I think this can be better, or you should do this to, I don't know, right? To take that into account, or it's going to be better like this and that, right? In that way. So what do you say, Marco? What are 2 negative aspects or 2 recommendations that you can give me for A14, for this course?
Okay, teacher. I think the lessons, the progress to lessons is very fast, but the course is good, and I learn a lot.
Okay, good. What you're saying is very important. It's very fast. So you feel that the information could be a lot and that we don't have a lot of time to cover that information slowly, right? You feel that everything is very fast. Is that correct?
Yes, teacher.
Okay. What do you say about how much time do you think that we need, Majo, to cover all this information, more or less? This was only 1 month. Do you think that we need 2 months, 3 months? How much time do you think that we need to cover this type of content to make it a little bit slower?
I think 1 or 2 months more.
Good. So minimum 2 months and maximum it will be 3 months in total. Okay, good. That's really important and that's really interesting, Majo, right? Your partners were telling me some details, but I think it's very, very important to talk about time because more time, and I agree with you, Majo, actually, I totally agree with you. We need more time to practice these strategies because they are complex and we need time to learn about vocabulary, to learn about paraphrasing, and so on and so forth. Good. That's a great, great recommendation. What else? Try to tell me one more thing if you can. What is time? More time. What other thing can you tell me that we can do to improve? It can be for me, all right, as a teacher, or it can be for the program to do something to make this better. What do you say?
Teacher, the method is very good, and it's important that you are very patient. That make us we don't have afraid, but you are very how do you say exigente, demanding,
Okay, demanding,
demanding?
demanding.
Yes, with the task.
Okay, okay, good, good. That's also very important, Majo. Yes. Look, I have something with that, and I also agree with that. I said at the beginning, right? I'm going to be demanding in this way and so on. But something happened, all right, in terms of in previous courses, we didn't have like these rules, and it was really hard to have people perhaps do some things and to have some tasks or activities done, all right? And in management, all right, I tried to contact management and I told them, right, if we had some rules, but they told the teacher, all right, or the teachers in this case, us, that we were the ones who needed to put the rules and everything clear so that the contact with management was only going to be for extra things. But I am going to take into account what you're saying. I agree. Perhaps I passed from being too lenient, right? Lenient, like saying yes to everything, to being too strict or too demanding in the sense it has to be like this and only this way. All right, I agree with you, Mao. What I'm going to try to do on that one, I'm going to try to check the criteria so that the criteria is not that, let's say, strict. But I'm also, you need to take this into account. I'm also following the contents from the program from Executive English and the context from the international parameters of what the students should know and must know for this level. But again, I'm going to try to look for a balance, all right, between being sometimes demanding, but also trying not to be so strict and trying not to ask too much that I know that perhaps is a lot or for this level or for specific situations. All right. So thanks for that again, Majo. I'm definitely going to try to work with those details. All right. Is there anything else that you want to tell me about related to recommendations? Let me know, please.
And teacher, the teachers should be more patient and more accessible with the schedule, especially with the how do you say teacher faltas absences.
Absences,
Yes,
correct.
I know that is important, but it's why we take the option of online courses.
All right, yes, you're right. It's like online. Perhaps I have something to say about that. Before, again, we didn't have rules related to absences, all right? But it was like the opposite. People didn't attend, all right, classes, and it was like they only work with the platform and they work with the platform and they pass to the next course, but they didn't practice with the teacher, and they passed like that 1, 2, 3, 4 courses or the entire course. And getting to A13, they didn't know how to write, they didn't know how to speak, and they believed that it was the courses program because they passed all the courses with Pearson, but they didn't practice because they were able to be absent anytime they want, and it was only Pearson. And Pearson can be good, all right? Pearson can be a good platform. If you were with Pearson, you know that it can be good, but it's not enough. If you don't practice with the teacher, if you're not in class, you are not going to be able to learn. And it happened, all right? It happened. We had 2 or 3 students that were in A13, but it was like too radical, all right? They didn't know, all right? They really didn't know about writing and about speaking. And at the end, of course, it was the courses program because they were able to pass. So the program decided, because of the feedback that the teachers, all right, gave, and I'm included on that, and we said, it's okay, all right, that it's online. Of course, they have that chance and so on, because actually Executive English was a face-to-face program, and it changed to be an online class, a English class and course because of the pandemic. But of course, now that we're working online, we took that into account. But again, the way the course is structured, Majo, the way the platform is structured is a way in which the students need to be in class. Why? Because if not, the platform is not going to be able to be to give all the tools that the student needs, all right? And we saw that. So that's why we decided to set, let's say, a limit, right? 3 absences, because it's 12 classes. From the 12 classes, you can be absent, let's say, 3 classes, and that can be a lot. At the beginning, it was only, again, the classes, but then management, and this is something that they just said, decided that it was also going to be for the calls, all right? Because some of them were in class, but sometimes they were not participating, and they were not in the 15-minute conversations, and they were not able to practice the listening part and the speaking part, all right? I'm going to mention that to finish this, Majo, because the feedback you're giving me is very important. And yes, it should be more accessible. But again, that was management decision because of what we experienced with some students that were not in class, but not any class. It was only 1 or 2 classes. And at the end, there were very negative consequences, all right, that we didn't know how to deal with that. But I'm going to take what you're saying also into account, and I'm going to mention that in the sense that perhaps it can be a little bit perhaps more absences or more options for you, Majo. The good thing is that you have also the videos, right, that you can watch and take that into account. But I'm going to try to communicate that to management so that we can find an extra solution, so that, again, if you're not able to attend classes, perhaps you can do something extra, like a practice or activity, to show that you're learning by yourself, and that absence is not going to affect your staying in the course. All right, but again, thank you very much for that one, Majo. I don't know if you have any final questions or comments before finishing this. Let me know, please.
Anything more, teacher? Thank you. You're the best.
Great. No, thank you, Majo. Again, thank you for being sincere, for being honest. I really appreciate that a lot. Please, let's fill out the survey, Majo. Do you see the questions about the class, about the how to score or rate the teacher and the class? Do you see that one?
No, teacher, I can see.
Okay, then
Yes,
can you
yes. I see. Yes, I see, teacher.
The first 3 questions are related to Friday's class, please, Majo, and the last 2 questions are in general. All right, again, thanks for your honesty. Thanks for being sincere for those words. I'm going to take everything into account, and I'm going to be in contact with management. It was great working with you, Majo. Keep working, keep practicing, and in case you need anything, all right, I'm going to be there, and I can help you out with whatever help you need. All right?
Thank you, teacher. My response is sure, teacher.
Not yet. There are 5 questions. Check if you were able to answer the 5 questions, please.
Yes. Yes, it's do it.
Okay, great, it's done. Thanks again, Majo. Have a great night, and I hope we can be in contact sometimes in the future. All right? Bye-bye,
Okay,
Majo.
teacher, thank you. Bye bye.
Take care. Bye-bye. All right. Hello, good evening, Melanie. How are you?
Hi, Luis. How are you? All good, thanks.
I'm fine. Thanks for asking, Melanie. Good. So sorry for making you wait these 5 minutes, but I think that you're able to see also the survey, right? Please, let's fill that out after this conversation. Now I'm going to give you some information about Google Classroom, and I'm going to ask you something related to the course. All right?
Okay.
Great. So the first thing is that you know, and I'm reminding this, that you have access to this material, right? This is evaluation and improvement. You have here some words and expressions. I said this to Carolina, Estefania, Majo, and I'm telling you this. If you want to work this, even when finishing the course, which is, well, it's happening now, all right, you can do it. We don't need to have a meeting, all right, if it's not necessary to do that. You can simply tell me via WhatsApp. All right, Luis, I think I have the words. Please let me know if they are okay, or let me know if I'm right. You send me a voice message, all right, and I'm going to give you my reply as soon as I can, so that I can help you out with these words, because I think it's still part of my work doing that. All right, but that's up to you, and that's when you feel ready to do it. Okay,
Okay,
good.
perfect.
That's the first one. The second part is that every unit still has access to this listening practice section, and here you have access to all the material that you've been working with me, Melanie, in terms of the lectures for the TOEFL, right? So every unit has two listening practices that are related to the same lectures that we've been listening to. But if you remember, we were only able to work like 1 minute or 2 minutes, right? Maximum 3 minutes from these lectures. But some of them are 8 minutes or 9 minutes long. So you can finish listening to them so that you can practice that vocabulary and be sure if you understood, because at the end of those videos, you have questions, and in the description of those videos you have the answer to those questions. All right, and in that way you know if you are able to understand everything correctly. Okay, so again, you have two per unit, and this is the last one. And lastly, related to this, is that here in this part, after this conversation with you, Melanie, I'm going to upload the final scores. If you're going to have any question related to those scores, any comments, just let me know. All right, and that's it related to Google Classroom. As I was telling, the final thing, perhaps you can download everything if you want. Everything is going to be at your disposal right here until Sunday. But afterwards, if you're not able to download something and you want to have access to that, you can contact me and I can send you that file. But if you want to do it by yourself, you can do it until Saturday. Oh, sorry, until Sunday. All right. Any questions about that before going to the feedback part, Melanie?
Sunday this week, right?
Yes, Sunday this week. Okay, you can download all the presentations, all the material, right? The links for the web pages to practice the TOEFL, to practice the accents. I think this is, here you have one of the best pages to practice accents, all right? So try to take advantage of that and practice that by yourself. And again, and to finish this, I know that 1 month is not enough to perhaps improving your speaking skills, of course, but what we try to do here is to give you some strategies so that you can do it by yourself. All right, that's the most we can do. Give you some strategies, give you some tools, some references, so that you know how you can keep improving, right? By learning vocabulary, imitating, practicing with vocabulary, and so on and so forth. Do you have any questions about this specific part? Let me know, please.
No, all good.
Okay, good. Now let's go to the feedback, please. It's going to work in the same way it was for the last course, all right, writing and reading. This time it's only for A14, listening and speaking. Try to tell me to begin with, please, Melanie, what are either the negative aspects that you find about this course, or and you can tell me or and, all right, recommendations to improve, all right, this course, taking into account that something that I told you before. Of course, this takes into account that some people for the TOEFL preparation are coming through this part, but this is more for a general practice for speaking. So what do you say?
Well, as you mentioned, I think 1 month to improve your pronunciation and your your speaking and listening skills are not enough, because you need to practice a lot of accents, and we saw a lot of this in the course. I mean, like, we try to practice some pronunciations with a video and everything, and that was really good. However, there are not all the words are not, we didn't see it in one class. So it just we select some words and how was pronounced in a British accent, in American accent, and things like that. But we can see everything. To be honest, for me wasn't really difficult, because I think I practice a lot my pronunciations. In fact, I have been studying English for two years, kind of. So it was not really difficult. However, there are, I think for other levels, maybe, of course, I understand that this is like a high level, it's not like for beginners. Can be a little difficult, because we didn't practice always repetition. I think that is the most important. Well, at least for me, repeat some words. It's crucial to like to understand what is the real pronunciation, because sometimes I don't know, I keep pronouncing that word and it's bad. I really like the idea of the Excel. I think help us a lot, because you remind, okay, how I said this in my presentation. Okay, what was the mistake there? So I think it was really good. I think for my side, I couldn't um, have a really good impact with this, because, well, I just was in class at 8 o'clock, and I couldn't review it a lot of times. So that was something maybe that I couldn't have a lot of experience in that. But maybe just at the beginning of each class, we can have something like that, like, okay, just two of the Excels at the beginning of each class, and all the people that is there. And because if we see this all the time, it's going to be like a lot of time, and of course it's not the idea. But I think that was my feedback for this class. In general, were really good. I really like it, and I think also the girls, they, well, always your classmates are going to help you to some pronunciation words. Maybe they are going to pronounce some words in a different way, and you are going to understand if that is the right or not, or the wrong way. And also the accent, even if we are American, I think the voice and everything is different to hear it. Sometimes maybe some people speak faster than the others, so can be also something that it can help you to understand better.
Very good. Thank you very much, Melanie. Great, great. What you're telling me is very important. You're right. You told me, right, to like verify what I was saying. 1 month is not enough. Great, I agree with you. We need at least, well, Maho was telling me that all this content was covered already in so little time that at least we should have like 2 to 3 months to try to cover this. And even, right, it's not going to be enough, but at least that's going to help you have more time to practice these skills. And I agree with her, 2 to 3 months could be a good idea. But of course, that's going to be up to other kind of details related to the program, the structure, and many other things, right? I like the thing that you mentioned about the Excel. I agree. I think this is a very interesting tool. I'm going to show that again to work. We were not able to work with this as much as I also would have wanted, right? Because of the content, because of the time. And you know, Melanie, I'm also aware of that, that sometimes I used more time than the time I needed. And some students and some of course of us don't like that. We like to start on time and we like to finish on time. And some people get angry because we don't start on time or we like surpass that time, right? So I wanted to respect that a little bit. It was not always possible, but I tried to be in the class as much as I could. But even right using more time, I was not able to cover everything that I wanted, and I was not able to practice all these words. That's why I'm leaving this door open, right? And I'm telling you, Melanie, that you can still contact me to finish with this, but you can also try to do that because if you record yourself and you listen to what you said, you are going to recognize because you're at 11 in English now, Melanie, and you know that you are at a level in which you can recognize your mistakes. So try to record yourself, try to write down those mistakes, and try to practice that in the way you were telling me, just by yourself, until you are really aware of what's happening and in which way you can approach that problem and in which way you can solve that problem. Right? It's always a good idea to have a guide, but you're not always going to have someone that is going to help you identify that, right? So you need to do it by yourself. And this is a strategy that you can use by yourself. I'm glad again to know that some of these elements were helpful for you. I noticed that it was not hard, but this was something that perhaps was for practicing and try to improve a little bit more. All right, so good. To continue, perhaps we're going to try to finish with this, Melanie, trying to go to some recommendations. We were talking with your partners and they were telling me that it's a good idea to add songs. Perhaps not to sing, because not all people like to sing, but to listen to some music and try to recognize and identify words. Even they were telling me to complete some blanks or fill out some blanks for songs, or adding more stories to use the vocabulary words in some stories in the way I did with Stefania. You had to retell the story, right? Those were some recommendations. What are some recommendations that you can give me, Melanie, that you believe are going to be good idea to implement to practice our speaking and listening skills in an active way?
I totally agree with the idea of the songs. In fact, I think there is a website. I don't remember right now the name, but there is a lot of, there are all the songs there, and there are just some spaces. You need to put it play to the music and you need to fill the blank space. So I think that is a really good idea, maybe to just have 5 minutes of a song and see how this going. This can be some hard to review maybe because it can be really difficult. However, I believe that if someone wants to learn and learn like really learn, they are going to do it just in conscious, so they are going to be aware that this is for themselves, and they are going to do it well. And also, I really like the class when we saw, I think was Friends, if I'm not wrong. Um, so I really like because it was really funny to see that and to understand. Other thing that maybe we can do, I don't know if this was for listening, in fact, but I really like to feel, I think the name is puzzles, but I'm not really sure, crucigramas. So there are some words and you need to understand what it is and you need to know the words. Maybe this can help for vocabulary because it's a really good activity. I think this also can help. I think just that. I have just that.
Good, very good. You can call that one the crosswords as well. Crossword or crosswords. Okay, good, very good. Yes, yes. Actually, that's something I must do and I'm going to do. Thank you for that feedback as well. And yes, I'm going to look for those web pages or channels because actually you have everything on the net, right? The idea is to identify how to use, and not only as a teacher, right? You as yourself, you can work on that and improve your listening skills, your pronunciation, and so on and so forth. So good. Okay, thank you very much, Melanie. I think that's going to be it. I just want you, well, to know that it was all right, great to have you as part of the class, Melanie. You have great skills, you have a great level of English. The only thing you have to do, as you were telling me, is just keep practicing. Those little things that you have related to some tenses, conjugations are part of some things that we have sometimes here. It's not that we have mistakes. Sometimes they can be part of being nervous, all right? Sometimes they can be part of some little details, but that's little by little, and that's just practicing. And again, we cannot do more than just keep practicing, keep learning new words, try to add those new words little by little, right? Try to use structures that we know very well how to use, and little by little explore different structures. So the idea is that one, right? To feel comfortable where we are, and little by little, right, keep implementing things that are not part of the things that we know. But that's it. I think you have everything that you need, all right, to have a great and a perfect level of English. Just keep working, and that's it. Do you have any final comments or questions before finishing? Let me know, please.
Well, thanks for your comments, Luis. And yeah, I really appreciate these two courses that we took some classes, because I think I learned a lot in the writing, speaking, listening. Thank you so much for your patience. Also, you are always like trying to help us, and in a really good way. Sometimes there are some teachers. I remember my teacher from the high school that was a witch, but in English, sorry, but was a witch is the worst teacher ever. So I'm really happy, because sometimes we have afraid to talk in English because our teacher can give us, I don't know, a punishment or whatever. However, with you was kind of, I feel like free to talk and to make mistake. And I think that is the most important when you are learning. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Melanie. I'm happy to hear that. Yes, sometimes it happens, right? We have a bad experience with someone who is kind of evil, right? But it happens, right? It's part of our learning process. So again, I'm really happy. I'm really, really happy to hear that. So the last thing again, please, Melanie, try to fill out the survey. Can you see the survey, the final survey over there?
No, I cannot see it.
Try to look for it, please. It's already there. I don't know how Majo saw it. If you can minimize something,
Yeah,
you
here
see?
I have. Yes.
Okay, there you go. So please, let's try to complete that one. I'm finishing this one. And with this, we are finishing this. As I was telling to your partners as well, this is like the end, right, of this process of learning with me. But I'm there as your contact. If you want to work with those words, let me know. If you want to practice sometimes or write in English to practice a little bit, let me know. If you need some tips or some recommendations related to some exams or tests, let me know as well. I'm going to be glad to help you out. All right?
Okay, thanks, Luis. It's
Great.
already feel.
Very good. Thank you very much. Then again, Melanie, have a great night. If you have questions related to your scores, let me know after this conversation. Have a good night and good luck with everything, Melanie. Take care.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.